Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you like, Super Dave. We are here to talk about number 155 in the classified line, and that is Darklon, another of the Iron Grenadiers factions. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat today. Thank you for joining me. Good morning. So Darklon's an interesting character because he was a character that came with a vehicle, and here is his vintage vehicle, the Persuader, I think it's called. I gotta make sure I check that out. But we're gonna go into the history of Darklon. First, we're going to start with Dan Klingsmith's series of books, and then we will go into some more details after that. So first, we have, I want to make sure that I have the name of that vehicle right. The Evader, not the Persuader, the Evader. Sorry. So there's some artwork for Darklon there, and a turnaround of his figure. And some of his gear is explained. This piece of artwork here is done by Dave Dorman, which he's a line artist that did the line presentation artwork and paintings for these reviews of these characters. So Darklon, alternate names, NA, year release 1989, designed by Mark Pennington. Mark Pennington, he took over for Ron Rudat after he started to wane on the G.I. Joe brand around 87, and he ran from 87 to 89. He is also going to be our primary guest at the Senflo Joe show in April on the 19th of 2026 in Deltona, Florida, Central Florida, at the center at Deltona. If you're interested in meeting Mark Pennington, designer of Hasbro G.I. Joe figures in the 80s. Okay. So then, released with his Evader, Darklon initially worked under the name Warlord and was supposed to be packaged alone. Mark shared that Darklon's face was inspired by the movie Predator and at first had dreadlocks. When looking at the package art of the Darklon on the previous page, it is hard to see how large and threatening of a character he was intended to be. So he was going to be a bit more like a Predator type character, and he was going to have some dreadlocks, but they took the dreadlocks out and they gave him a vehicle and added him to that vehicle. Originally, he was going to be called Warlord. So that's interesting. Some new information that I was not familiar with. So very, very cool there. I always loved the color scheme of this character because he was so like crazy. Look at that color scheme. Isn't that crazy? You're like, wait a minute. What is this character all about? And he was kind of a mysterious character that you're like, there's something going on here that I don't understand, but I love it and I want to see more of it, or I want more about it. So that is that. And then on the previous page, I accidentally skipped this. On the previous page, we have the Evader, his motorcycle, and then the engineering for the Evader and all the gear that it was going to go with that, and the package design there. It says alternate names, NA, year release 1989, designed by Frank Coriolis. Darklon's Evader was designed by Frank Coriolis, senior product designer, after being inspired by his parakeet's bird feeder. The Evader was designed to be fusion-powered open-air motorcycle and was released with the figure Darklon. This clamshell design seems to also have elements of the original cycle in the movie Tron. There you go. That's pretty cool. And so Darklon is also a member of the Iron Grenadiers faction. And so he was an interesting character because he came with a vehicle, and there is his vehicle, the Evader, with him in the package as part of the Iron Grenadiers. A lot of gold and black with Iron Grenadiers, and very like ostentatious colors like oranges and reds, and really weird um, fall type colors. A lot of fall type colors because this is obviously a Scottish based faction of Cobra, the Mars Industries through Destro and the Iron Grenadiers. So the Iron Grenadiers also first appeared in, or I should say, Darklon first appeared in this issue, which is a Python first appearance as well. But Darklon also appeared in this issue, and that is G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 88 from the 80s Marvel Comics run by Larry Hama. So then we have the vintage figure, and we have his vintage vehicle. Very Tron-esque, except the missiles and stuff like that, but very Tron-esque. And it's probably one of the cooler vehicle and figure combinations, I think. But they did that every year. There was going to be a new figure and figure combination, and it happens that mine was Darklon. So there you go. There's Darklon. Make sure we got him tight there. Oops. Leaned over. There. And then his big gun, Gatling gun. He's a really cool figure. I love the fact that they included the mask as part of the McCullen clan. So anybody that is a arms dealer or dealing in weapons and stuff like that, and the McCullen clan that's a male has to wear a mask. And in the Skybound comics Destro miniseries, you see something that happens to Darklon, and he ends up getting punished, and that's how he gets his mask. They showed how he got his mask and what happened to him, which I think that was pretty cool, and a piece of the lore that we had never seen. We've seen Destro, how he got his mask, but we never saw how Darklon got his mask. But the family McCullen has gone on for centuries as arms dealers, and so there are probably other arms dealers in the McCullen clan that we've not seen yet. So I think we should be very, very suspect about the Mars industry and the McCullen clan for future members of the McCullen clan. So I'm going to stick him over here with his evader there. So then let's see, we're going to go into the vintage or the classified Darklon, and you can see that those eyes and that mask. You can see he's not happy about having to wear that mask. His anger and his frustration with his fist being shown there. But I really thought the color scheme on this guy was really a cool color scheme on the vintage one. It's a lot brighter on the vintage one than it is on the classified one. Again, he's number 155 in the classified line. We've gone now 00 Snake Eyes all the ways up to 155. We've done 21 vintage package, 4 legacy and 60th anniversary, and we've done some odds and ends with the Fortnite Snake Eyes and some of the running variants and things like that. And there are some other variants too. There's a Sergeant Slaughter's Marauder variant with his cover off, and then there's I'm trying to think who else has a variant. But there are other variants in the classified line. So let's look at the other side. We have the QR code, the target artwork, and the designations. So we're going to look at his designations and see what he has to offer there. We have, let's see, the 5 stars, which is leader. We have that ordnance, which I believe is heavy weapons there. We also have the money with the suitcase, which I think is black market deals, which makes sense for arms dealer. And then we have the anvil and the hammer, which I believe the anvil and the hammer are. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have it on my current listings, so I'm going to go into my other listings and see if I can find it. I think I can find it in here. Hold on, just give me a second. I'll figure that out. All right, so here we go. We have the anvil and the hammer. Is weapons development, because he's an arms dealer. They develop weapons. There you go. So that takes care of that. Those are the designations. Then let's see. We have the Shooting the Galaxy photography artwork of Darklon. There, you can see a couple call outs in the package. It shows all the Iron Grenadiers back there, shows the bats back there. He looks really, really cool there. I like deco a lot. It really stands out for this particular character. And then we have the loadout and the call out to the Iron Grenadiers in the package, which they don't do with everybody. They do it with certain groups. Like they don't do it with the Dreadnoks. They don't do it with Crimson, but they definitely do it with the Iron Grenadiers and some of the Joe factions. And then we have Darklon. All right, so we're going to get him out of his package. He was one of those characters, like I said, that stood out. And when I see things that like really jump off the pegs or jump off the shelves, they interest me more. The Cobra artwork inside and the Legal and DC gobbledygook there. So Darklon was one of those 89 characters that I was interested in because of the deco. Sometimes I am more interested in more flamboyant colors and brighter colors, neon colors. That stuff really resonated with me as a child. So that's why characters like Barbecue, Blowtorch, Airtight, Sci-Fi, leading up to the later years of the Neon, Eco Warrior, all that stuff, those are characters that I really liked. Obviously, I liked other characters because they were my first characters, or their heritage is connected to mine, like Spirit and Destro was my first character, and then the Crimson Twins because I'm a twin. So I have different reasons why I like different characters, like everybody else out there in the collecting world. But I also like a lot of neon color type characters. Like I said, Blowtorch, Airtight, Sci-Fi, Barbecue. Those characters always, I enjoyed them as well. And he was one of those characters because obviously his color scheme is a lot brighter than it is in the classified line. Much, much darker in the classified line than it is with the vintage figure. Oops. Brandon, happy Saturday, Super Dave. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Thanks for joining us again on a new Iron Grenadiers figure. Good morning, Gunpowder Nitro. Good morning. You got it. So you can see that they subdued all these different colors. It still has the same basic color scheme. It's just they're more subdued. Everybody's saying hello to everybody in the chat. So there is a lot more detail on this figure. The colors were a lot more plain, but they changed out some of the boots. Instead of giving him those really long boots, they gave him a little bit shorter, and they did these knee pad type hangovers. There you can see they go over the knee pads there, and they're colored basically like the boots and stuff. But they added some black deco, and they added some gold and black to the ordinance that's around his ankle. Similar to the vintage one, he did have that ordinance, but it was just all gold and not black. So there's a little bit of a difference there with him on the details of that. The same thing goes for his sheath on his ankle, his left ankle. It's black and it has like an ornate, like Scottish type deco on there with some sculpting and stuff like that from his heritage as a member of the Clan McCullen. So that's a new element as well. So there are little new detail elements about this figure. And in the vintage, he had like stripes, like a tiger stripes on his pants and his shirt. They did not use the tiger stripes on the pants, and they redecoed the his crotch part a little bit different. Instead of being all black, they added some red to match the boots to give a little bit of a kind of a cohesive uniform where the orange is in 2 or 3 different parts with the pads. They also did it on this secondary holster here on his chest. They added that orange there as well to kind of bring the different colors together, the black, the orange, the red, the green, and so on and so forth. And I think it's a really nice way to do it. They also gave him this really nice uh, shoulder pauldron that I like, that has a lot of ornate detail as well in it. It looks really cool. I love the fact that his mask has got a lot more detail on it as well. You can actually see those eyes, whereas in the vintage one, you really couldn't see those eyes. And there's a lot more in that mask than there was in the vintage one. There's some silver, there's some ornate like sculpting in the front rebreather there, and a couple of silver on the little rebreathers there. And then his eyes are a little bit red. They kind of look like Sith eyes almost. And I've always enjoyed this green camouflage pattern that he's got on there as well. I think that's really nice as well. He's got lots of sheaths and stuff. This secondary on his belt has a sheath. He's got the sheath on the leg. He's got all kinds of different little things on all over his body. Pouches here, pouches there. His harness and his belt there. So they definitely upgraded this figure and made it a little bit cooler, in my opinion. I don't know about the subduing of the colors, but it definitely looks good. And some of the armaments and stuff that he has, like on his wrist gauntlets and stuff, are really cool. There's some detail in that as well that looks really nice. And his other armaments on that side of his hand, he's got like an iron glove or something like that, and it looks like he's like kind of almost like a knight on this. It looks very knight-esque to me in a lot of these elements with all the ornate parts of it, which is really cool. I think that's a new element that was never in the original. Let's see, everybody's saying hello to everybody in the chat. That color scheme is whack. Those legs look like they came off of another figure. The camo pattern on the legs would have helped. Yeah, I think they took that away from the vintage. The vintage one did have camo on there, a little bit of camo on the red there. So I'm not sure. I guess because they did a lot of other details other places, that they had to cut some of that off of him, Gunpowder Nitro. Gun and Brandon and Saucer, Dave. Morning, Joe Bros. Hey, good morning, Sean Jones. Thanks for joining us. Hello. Gunpowder Nitro needed the camo on the legs. Yeah, I think he did need that a little bit, but it is what it is. All right, let's get into some of the details of some of his accessories. So, the first thing I want to mention is he's got this really nice broadsword that is really beautiful. There's a lot of ornate detail. He's got the McCullen clan jewel right there in the hilt, if you can see that. And he's got a little bitty red jewel cobra sigil on the end there. I think this sword is a beautiful sword. I'm guessing we're going to see something like this with Destro, but I think Destro's will probably be gold, most likely. And they were doing some future proofing with this sword, but definitely we're going to see this sword again. I'm positive of that. I bet Destro is going to come with it. The Iron Grenadiers Destro. And then he's got a beautiful sheath that has a lot of really nice ornate detail all the ways around it that gives it that, like I said, that knight feel, and it has that stitching on there to hold it in there on that, and more ornate detail on the bottom and the back of the bottom. It really gives it that knight feel. I'm going to put the sword in the sheath here, and I'm going to see where the sheath goes on the side. See, it's got to connect someplace. I don't see a little doodad on there. Normally they have doodads on the belts or harnesses or something, but it doesn't look like there is one on this. I don't see where this is supposed to go. Unless it goes in his back as a backpack. Like that, I guess. I don't know. Like that. Interesting. That's different. We also got this little revolver, old style type revolver. Brandon, you like the color scheme just fine. Everybody's saying hello again. He's a wacky character. He dresses really interestingly, I guess. Yeah, I like him. I think he's a really interesting character. You know, it gives a little bit of variety to the G.I. Joe brand, where you don't have the same old green guy or the same old blue guy in uniforms. So I'm going to put this revolver in the back pocket there of his belt. He's got this little holster on the back that I showed earlier. I'm going to put that there. Hope that's where that goes. Let's take his sword back off. Oops, I dropped that revolver. Uh-oh. I dropped his revolver. Now I can't find it. Yeah, I dropped it. Now I can't find it. Oh well. I guess that solved that problem, right? Put his sword back on. There. So then, one of the interesting things about this figure is he has a secondary mask or a secondary head that is really, really gruesome. And it has a lot of like detail. Gunpowder Nitro, yes, he did come with a vehicle in the 90s or the late 80s. Here's his vehicle. It's called the Evader. I talked about that a little bit already when I went over his history. So hopefully that helped you. Almost past Darklon by, as it did impress me on the shelf when I saw it. Then I thought, well, why not? And in hand, he's awesome. Good articulation to wield his sword, his two-handed sword, and both hands. There you go. So that's why sometimes we got to get them in hand. And I've had this for quite a while, for probably over a year. And I'm just now opening it because we've been doing this series after the fact and stuff, and taking all the histories in with the characters. So now that I've got it in hand, it really is impressing me a lot. Um, I was out of Joe by the time our Darklon came along. Yeah, a lot of us started to wane in our collecting in the later years, depending upon where you started. So if you started like in 86, 87, 88, you might have been out before 94. If you started in like 82, you might have been out by 86 or 87. If you started like where I was around 83, 84, 85, then you were in till like maybe the late 90s, and then you started to wane. I never completely stopped, but I definitely was not all in at that point in 89. I was getting a couple things here and there, and for every year I got a couple things here and there, but I did not get everything for every year leading up to that. um, Brandon, oh, I already did that one. Let's see. Yeah, y'all tap into some old memories for me. Gunpowder Nitro. Yep. Anyway, just popping in for a sec. Gotta run. Okay, Brandon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yo, Joe. Uh, See you, Brandon. Appreciate it. So then we're gonna get to this mask. Uh, he comes with this alternate head, and there's all kinds of ornate detail on that, and sculpting and stuff like that. He's got that tongue sticking out of it. Reminds me of like a little dreadnought type head. He's got some really, really neat eyes in there as well. I'm trying to get the eyes so you guys can see them, but you can't really see it with that. Let's see if that's better. There, it's better. There, you can see those eyes better, and all that detail on the sides and everything, and in the back too. So this is a really nice head. I'm going to probably stick with the head that I have because he's more of a the vintage version. And you know how I am. I'm more akin to using the vintage versions of stuff if I can. So then he comes with a little bitty knife, which is another nice little ornate knife. A little knife that I don't think we've seen this version of this knife. It's got some silver deco, and it's got the black hilt there, and he's got a holster sheath on the side of his left leg there, and I think that goes in there like that, just like he had on the vintage. And then his big huge gun. So that does it for the accessories. So I'll put that over there. So here's his big gun that he came with as a vintage figure, and it's a crazy Gatling gun. Look at this thing. It is absolutely nuts that they gave him this in the 80s, and now they duplicated it as a classified element to the figure. There's all kinds of really cool detail with gas canisters and pressure things, and binoculars and that Gatling part and everything. It's awesome. It's a really cool looking gun, I must say. Let's see if we can get that on him. So he's going to, I think, put his hand around that part there. If I can get it on. All right, I think that might do it. All right, maybe. Okay, I think I got it there. So there, now he has his Gatling gun on there. He just looks like he's a nut. He's so crazy looking with that big gun and this deco and those big shotguns that go inside, and swords and knives. He's just a crazy, crazy character. But I do love him. And I think the interesting thing about Iron Grenadiers and in general, characters that are part of the McCullen clan, they're a bit more ostentatious because the royalty factor, and they can do a lot more weird stuff and dress weirder and things like that. And I think that's where the elements to these guys come from. I'm going to put him on a stand and we'll get him ready to go. And there you go. He's got everything on him. The only thing is I lost that little revolver, so I have to see if I can find where it went. And I'll put it in his back after the fact. Let's see. Hey, Clement, thanks for joining us today. So we are talking about Darklon, another of the Iron Grenadiers from Destro's family, the Clan McCullen. There's the vintage one, and there's the classified one next to each other. And then he also came with the Evader in the 80s. In the 80s, Clement, he came with the Evader. So there you go. There's Darklon. So what do you guys think about this one? Do you like Darklon? Do you think it's a crazy character? Anything you want to add, or any questions you have about him? I'm still trying to find where that revolver went, but I don't know where it went. Oh well, I'll get it eventually. Anything that you want to add about? He's a pretty straightforward character. He's got the butterflied shoulders. He's got the double pinned elbows. He's got the double pinned knees down there. He's got the foot rocker. He does not have the secondary. He does have the secondary ankle articulation. He has the thigh and the calf articulations. He's got the crotch leg articulation. He has the head articulation, the head rocker. He's got the ab crunch. He's got the wrist articulation. He's got he does not have the secondary wrist articulation, and it doesn't look like he has the bendy wrist articulation either. Maybe he does. Let me see. He does a little bit, but not a lot. But there's a lot of little details in the harness with all the different pouches on him, and the detail with the ordnance and his mask. And so there's some really good little elements. I would have maybe have liked to have this a little bit maybe gold, maybe some of these little elements, these armaments, gold to match some of this, or silver to match the sword and different things like that. I think that would have added one little teeny bit of extra to it if they wanted to do that with Darklon. But overall, he's a pretty interesting character. I would say a good 8 in my book on that because of my fondness for him when I was younger, and the fact that he's part of the Clan McCullen and Destro's Iron Grenadiers also is a plus for me, because that was my first figure was Destro, so I love a lot of the Destro Iron Grenadier characters. You love the figure. Okay, Clement. Thank you. Appreciate it. So do you guys have anything else you want to add to this Darklon discussion? Like I said, they did a storyline in Skybound through the Destro miniseries, and it tells the origin of Darklon. So if you want to see how he gets his mask and what he does and how he gets into trouble with the Clan McCullen and Destro, then you can read that miniseries from Skybound. Came out a couple years back. It's a good miniseries. In fact, it has my Crimson Twins in it. They're going up against Destro in that, which I found not too good. I was not happy about that. But my two factions in the same miniseries. It was interesting. So our next character is going to be a Joe, and it is going to be a fairly big favorite Joe character. I was never very big on this particular character, but I know there's a lot of people that do love him because it's a more of a green shirt type of a character. So I know there's a lot of people that did want him, did want this character. It's not one of my favorite characters. What year did the Iron Grenadiers debut? What year did it debut, Gunpowder Nitro? I believe the first Iron Grenadier was 87, and then 88 and 89. They were very heavy those 3 years. Those are the three big years. A lot of Iron Grenadiers those years. I believe the first one was just the normal Iron Grenadier Trooper, and it might have been Destro. And then after that, I think we might have gotten like some other troopers with the Voltar. I'm trying to think of who else. There's a lot of vehicles with Iron Grenadiers. That was a big thing with the Iron Grenadiers. They had vehicles, quite a few vehicles, in fact. And then in the 90s, the big Iron Grenadier was Metalhead. And I think they started to wane around 90, 91, the Iron Grenadiers. They did do a second Metalhead figure, in fact, after. And then Destro had a couple more figures too. But they started to wane in the 90s. But yeah, 87, I believe, was the first Iron Grenadier. And it was the Trooper, Iron Grenadier Trooper. So there's not too much going on. A little bit of news. I guess Hot Wheels is going to be doing another HISS tank, a little miniature vehicle similar to the Sky Striker. So we will get that when we see that, the little mini HISS tank through Hot Wheels, their specialized brand that they do. Hey, Lone Dragon, good morning. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about Darklon and Darklon's Evader and Iron Grenadiers and Destro and the McCullen clan and stuff like that. What was I going to say? So yeah, I think that that little Hot Wheels HISS tank is going to be kind of cool. I wonder if they would do more of those Hot Wheels vehicles. What do you guys think? What vehicles do you think they should come out with in that mini Hot Wheels scale? Let's see. I have my Sky Striker right over here. Let me get it. There. There's the Sky Striker version that they did. And it's through the premium pop culture Hot Wheels brand through their Hot Wheels. And I like it. I think it's really cool. I hope they continue to do these. So they're doing fairly popular vehicles. It seems like they're doing all the HasLabs because they did the Sky Striker, which is the 3 3/4 HasLab, and then they did the HISS. Now they're doing the HISS tank, which is HISS tank HasLab. So I'm wondering if the next one they do for Hot Wheels is going to be the Dragonfly, and possibly after that the Rattler and the Snowcat. So it seems like they're only releasing the HasLabs. We'll see what the next one is. If it's a helicopter, then that they're definitely following that pattern because we haven't seen a Vamp or we haven't seen a Stinger or Ostriker, and those are typically some of the ones that a lot of these companies do for little scale versions of the vehicles a lot of times. I've gotten other ones over the years, and it's typically the Vamp, the Ostriker, the Stinger, the HISS tank. That's sick as F. Where have I being? Who sells these? I must know. Gunpowder Nitro, you didn't know? These are from Hot Wheels. They're at Walmart, Target, Walmart, any of your normal retailer. I got mine through Amazon because I was having a hard time finding it, and then one day I found a second one at Target, and I got it. So I have two. Um, but yeah, you can pretty much find it anywhere. Um, let's see. I might pick up a Darklon and on discount. I don't care for the heads or the doofy gun, but it's a cool body. Yeah, it is a really cool body. I agree with you on that. Um, his gun is just it's just a crazy gun. But you got to kind of suspend your disbelief with the Mars Industries, where fringe. They're on the very echelon of technology and weapons because they're arms dealers for Cobra. So they're going to push that element to the very razor's edge. And Darklon, being one of the main leaders of the Iron Grenadiers, you would think he would want one of the coolest, craziest type weapons. So in that essence, in that sense, I can see why he's got such a crazy weapon, but it's still crazy regardless of the reasoning behind it. Um, but he is a really cool character, I must say. He's one of my favorite characters from the later years, and everybody's likes and dislikes and favorites and stuff are going to differ depending upon your mileage with the brand, where you started, where you ended up, who's your favorite, what was your favorite first character, and so on and so forth. So that's why it's fine if you don't like it or if you do like it, but your mileage is all going to be different than mine. So that's why these videos are good for everybody to get a real true sense of these characters, their histories, comparing it to the vintage and the classified, giving a little history into both of those elements as well. Well, my wife is not going to be happy. Why not? She doesn't want you to buy Hot Wheels figures or toys, Gunpowder Nitro. Or is it just something else she's going to have to look for you? Because I'm very fortunate. My partner is like all in with collecting and stuff, and goes whenever he goes shopping, looks for stuff, calls me, hey, do you need this, do you need that, buy stuff for me, lots of stuff for me at flea markets, yard sales, and all this stuff, calls me, sends me pictures. I'm very fortunate that my spouse is all in with me on this, and I'm all in with my spouse and helping them with their collecting as well, and I do the same thing. So I hope you don't have a problem with your spouse where they give you difficulty. That would not be fun, because I think it's better to have a spouse that you can enjoy these hobbies with. They may not be 100% in that camp. Like my spouse isn't a big GI Joe collector or fan, but they do collect action figures. They do collect some of the same things that I do, comics, and they do enjoy going to shows and shopping and finding cool finds at these places. So in those ways, we get along really well, and we have a lot in common. And I hope your spouse is like that for you, Gunpowder Nitro, because I would not want to be in a relationship if I did not have some sort of kind of camaraderie, fun elements to my relationship. If it was just romantic and business all the time, dealing with life, that would kind of be sad, in my opinion. Everybody lives the way they live, and more power to you if that's the way you want to live. But I don't, I don't live that way. Sorry. But I hope you're able to get whatever you want whenever you want. Just make sure you take care of your children and your roof and your food on your table, and make sure you take care of your work and stuff. Those are more important than toys and collecting and stuff like that. I know it may seem like that's blasphemous, but we have to be responsible first before we can have fun. So there you go. A little PSA from the Jenner's review. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Oh man. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I've been dropping some dough lately. Ah, I see. Okay. Just a joke. Being married 21 years, she makes me a better person. But very good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm on my 22nd year myself, so we're very close there, gunpowder. So that's good. What? Why? Why, Lone Dragon? That's terrible. Don't unsub. Um, so yeah, so that's Darklon. Any other questions? Any other comments? Um, you guys are kidding around with me, I know. Um, but yeah, you know, you just gotta have that relationship if you're gonna uh, be married and stuff like that. You got to have that relationship there on all levels. You really do. So it's important. And I'm very happy that I was able to do that and find the person that was right for me that matched my temperaments and things like that. Not everybody matches you, and you have to find the right person. So I'm glad that you found the right person, Gunpowder Nitro. That's wonderful. And all of you guys out there that do have spouses, I hope you all have the right spouses as well. Uh, so I think that's going to cover us. Other than I'm just going to go over this one more time today. Sunflow Joe Show again, April 19th, Deltona, Florida, at the center at Deltona. If you're in the South Georgia, South Alabama, and the Florida area, and you would like to go to a wonderful GI Joe event, Mark Pennington's going to be there. Adam Riches, and we just got confirmation that that toy company that I was talking about is going to be at the show, and that is LaCroix's Toys. You guys might know him as Matthew LaCroix. He makes cool custom toys and does paint applications on figures for people, and he did the Fumbles figure at Joe Fest last year with Seth Green. He's going to be the toy company, and that is I'm trying to remember the name of his company. I don't know. I can't remember the name of his company off the top of my head, but it's Matthew LaCroix is going to be here. Lone Dragon, my imaginary wife and I are very happy. Ah, Lone Dragon, you're so funny. You always pull my leg. We don't have any imaginary children yet. Oh man, you're good. You always keep this chat lively. I love that about you, Lone Dragon. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just try to be easier on me, okay? Dave, I might drop some short vids of my collection. Hey, that would be great. I look forward to that. I try to sub to all the guys that are in my channel. I've gotten sub to Woody. I've subbed to 610 Yojo Daddy, Evil Dookie, and stuff like that. So I'll try to sub to your channel, Gunpowder Nitro. And watch some of that stuff. I want to support you guys as much as you're supporting me, because this is a group endeavor, a family endeavor, and friendship and camaraderie and stuff with all of our Joe Bros involved. So I think that's awesome, and I appreciate that. So what was I saying before? So Matthew LaCroix is going to be the toy company that's going to be joining us. I just can't think of the name of his toy company off the top of my head. I'll have to find out and write it down for the next time I do one of these videos. Then we have, of course, we're going to have Rising Sun Publishing with Hawk Sanders, and we have After Action Report Publishing with Roger Taft. We're going to have a Joe Fest booth. I will have my own booth, so I'll be selling some duplicates and leftover Star Wars, G.I. Joes, Masters of the Universe, and some other stuff that I have that are duplicates. So I'll have a booth as well. Gunpowder Nitro, you too, Lone Dragon. So that's a lot. We've got a lot of vendors that are going to have all kinds of cool stuff for you guys to buy. Old GI Joes, Masters, Star Wars, Legos, comics, you name it. So bring your wallets if you do come to the show, because there's going to be a lot to buy. It'll be the beginning of the summer, so it'll be April. So hopefully the holidays crunch has been over and you're able to buy some stuff and you can come and enjoy yourself. We got any snake armors for sale? Hey, Lone Dragon. I bought a couple from Lone Dragon actually for a really good deal, and I should be getting to the snake armor. Not He's not too far off for a review, Lone Dragon. So we'll be getting to that very shortly. I'm not selling my snake armor. Sorry. I just bought some $150. Uh, be here Tuesday. Wow. Okay. Good job, Gunpowder Nitro. Snake Armor's a tricky one because there was a lot of fishy business with that when it came out. Because when I tried to order mine, I ordered it, and then they sent me an email confirming that I ordered it, and I hit the wrong button. I accidentally canceled, and a lot of people accidentally canceled because they didn't know what that was. They're like, "Oh, do you want a kind of another one, or do you want to?" Do something with the shipping or whatever. I've talked to a few people that had the same problem that I had with the snake armor. So I'm thinking that's a way to like weed out people so they could send out what they did have because they might not have had enough or something. I don't know. It was weird. Let's see. eBay, $150, but it looks sick. Yeah, that's a really good deal. I got a much better deal from Lone Dragon. I got two of them for $200, which he was very generous and very kind to me. So I'm very, very lucky. Thank you, Lone Dragon. I'll never never say thank you enough for doing that. It's okay. The legs could be better, and I really wish they added more hard points for weapon mounts since they insisted on updating it. It looks cool, at least. Well, there you go. I look forward to getting to mine again. So I think that's going to cover it for everything today. If you guys are in the Kentuckiana area, Kentuckiana Winterfest is going on today. My two co-hosts on Toy Talk Live on Sunday afternoons at 2 o'clock are going to be there. Terry Ruin and Daniel Thompson from Zone Comics. They're both going to be in Kentucky at the Winterfest. Go there, say hello. Tell them that you love Super Dave and the G.I. Joe New News review. That's awesome, Lone Dragon. And go buy some cool toys. That's a fun show. I usually go to Kentuckiana in the summer when I'm up there visiting family and stuff. So I try to hit it. Last year was a little weird because a lot of my friends ended up having problems and they didn't go. So I was there pretty much by myself. I got to talk to Daryl DePriest and a lot of the other cool vendor guys. But I didn't get to visit my friend Terry or Dan. Both of them I missed both of them. Last year. But Winterfest is a really good show. It's a smaller show than the Kentuckiana one. So if you guys want to go to get through that snow and not be cold and stuff like that, good luck on that. I hope it's not too bad up in Kentucky. I like it more than Masterverse attempt at upsizing the Horde Troopers. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to get a Horde Trooper. I haven't gotten one yet. Masterverse figures are ones that I try to get out in the wild. I don't order them or pre-order them. I just try to find them at like Walmarts and Targets and Amazons and conventions and GameStops and things like that is usually where I find Masters, or I find them at toy stores and things like that. I found some at a friend of mine's Four Corners has a local toy store near here, and I bought 3 or 4 of them from him the other day, a couple weeks ago. Four Corners. What What else? So yeah, if you're able to go to Kentuckiana, that's going on this weekend. Say hi to Terry and Dan. We should be still doing an episode. They're going to try to do a live episode on Sunday from the show, and I will join them, chime in from here in Florida onto that. But we'll see how it goes. Hasbro owns the G.I. Joe IP, so there is no reason for the action figure to be over 20 LOL. Everything over 8 to 10 is profit. Yeah, 60 GI Joe 66. That's definitely a valid opinion. But you know, inflation and tariffs, taxes, and all this has to factor into plastic, oil costs, all that factors, shipping costs, all those things factor into why a toy is a little bit higher price. But I understand if you don't like it, but it reality is you got to deal with it. It's a Mattel Creations exclusive. You're probably not going to find it at a regular store. Might have to hit a con table if you insist on finding it in person. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I'll do that. Hi, Terry and Dave. Hello. That's dollars. Those are only add up to for a higher price. It's interesting. We all have to make decisions in life, and a lot of us are buying GI Joe figures at a higher price because those are the decisions we've chose to make. There's not much we can do about it. We can either say no and choose not to, or we can say yes and choose to do so. Gunpowder Nitro, supply and demand. As soon as it no longer available, price goes up. There you go. You got it. Lone Dragon, nah, it's greed. I guarantee when the tariffs go away, the prices will not go back down. You may be right on that, Lone Dragon. You may be right. Yes, but it would be nice for Hasbro to give you more for your money. I don't know. I think they give quite a lot of stuff. If you look at the vintage figure that was like $3.99 or something like that, he came with a gun. He came with a vehicle that was probably $6.99. I think this was $6.99 or something. And then he had a figure and a gun, right? This figure comes with an extra head. He's got a sword, a sheath. He's got a knife. He's got a revolver. He's got his big gun. Lots of extra detail. Lots of extra articulation. I think it's worth the price. I really do. It's like a piece of art. And when you deal with art, you have to look at the overall picture of the art, the packaging and the character and all that stuff. But I agree with you. I think the Hasbro GI Joe gives way more for the prices than Black Series or Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends does okay, but Black Series, they barely come with anything for the same basic price as a classified figure. If you look at this barbecue that I did yesterday, and all the stuff that he came with for the price, there's no other Star Wars figure that comes with all that. So, it's one of those subjective viewpoints. The card back, as far as NIB collector, look amazing displayed. Yeah, they do, Gunpowder Nitro. I watched Evil Dookie's review, his collection review that he did, and he had some on the walls and stuff, and it looks really nice. I do like those. I wish I had more space to do that for. Stands for each figure. Yeah, you're right, Sean Jones. The vintage ones do come with stands. The retro package come with stands, and the legacy come with stands. And actually the claw pilot came with a stand, which is very odd. I would like everyone to come with a stand. I think that would be a little bit of added value, and I think they should sell stands with the characters like they did back in the 4-inch modern era. I will have them all. I will have them all. Yep, I'm sure you will in time. It's not that difficult. A lot of the vintage package figures are fairly easy to get. Only 1 or 2 or 3 are tricky. Snake Eyes, Zartan, Storm Shadow, I would say, are the hardest ones to find. And they were the last couple of batches of the Walmart exclusive ones. But all the other ones are very easy to get. So good luck on all that, Gunpowder Nitro. Good luck with everybody finding what they want and getting what they want and being um, true to their own collecting in their own way. Get what you want, collect what you love, collect what you like. Don't be forced to buy something you don't want. If you don't want something, don't buy it. And that's the end of it. And if you don't want to get classified, don't get classified. Go back and get vintage. Vintage is starting to go back up again because of the fact that the prices of the classified are getting higher. People are now kind of waning on classified and they're going back to vintage. So the vintage prices are starting to go up again. I remember when I started back in trying to acquire my vintage collection, it was a lot cheaper to get a lot of this stuff in the early 2000s, like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. It was a lot cheaper then than it is now. And so that's trickier. But thankfully, I have everything except for a couple of vehicles. I will have them all. There you go again. So, all right, guys. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for always adding to this chat, asking questions, getting involved, joining the conversation, and everybody after the fact that watches in the replay crew. I really appreciate it. The number one thing you can do for these videos is to share these videos. Make sure everybody in the chat, I'm pretty sure, is already liked and subscribed, which is wonderful. I appreciate that. But sharing these videos is the number one way we can grow this channel, try to get up to that 250 mark, and then try to get up to that 1,000 mark that I'm trying to reach. A nice round number. I'm not trying to like rule the world or conquer the world or whatever. I just want a nice round community that I can chit chat with. And you guys have been fantastic, wonderful in the chat all this time, the last couple of years. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. It does mean a lot to me in the bottom of my heart that you guys are here. You're my family and my friends, and I want to maintain that relationship with you guys. So thank you very much. Later, all. Let's see. Did you get General Brown? I don't know who General Brown is, Lone Dragon. Is that another joke, Lone Dragon? Are you telling me a joke like bringing the Browns to the Super Bowl? Is that what that is? You're so funny. You always get me on all that. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. And this is a big Iron Grenadiers Cobra video. So we're going to go, Hail Cobra! Iron Grenadiers rule. See you guys next time. Have a good weekend.